What's going on, guys? It's Greg from East Coast Eyes, and we are getting back into head reviews. Fall lacrosse is coming up, and a lot of companies tend to release product around September and the fall, so that means we're going to get some new heads coming through that we're going to review for you guys, put them through their paces. And today we have the newest Evo 5X. So this is, it's really not an X, it's just the Evo 5 now. They're not making a high school spec anymore, which is great because high school spec is going to be antiquated pretty soon. But new Evo 5, I've got two colors of it, but it's going to come in a few different colors. We've got the white and the blue. It's this really cool neon blue, and the red orange is like this really cool burnt orange. So it's kind of nice that they broke outside the normal color spectrum for some more interesting ones. People don't love colored heads, so it's cool to see them experiment a little bit. Basic stats, it's going to be an X spec, and that's all it's coming in, so universal, and it is $110, and it weighs 5.2 ounces. So that's pretty much it on the specs. Let's dig into those a little bit. $110 price point is high. For me, $100 is like the most I'd personally spend on a high-end head, so it's definitely expensive. And 5.2 ounces is heavy. So the old Evo 4, what this head is coming after, was only 4.8 ounces. There's not a lot of offensive heads that weigh that much over 5. It's actually almost closer to 5.3 ounces, which is really, really heavy. As an offensive guy, you kind of want to go for low weight. We like to see something more in the 4.8, 4.9 range, and this is almost a full half an ounce heavier, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that makes a big difference when goals can be decided by a tenth of a second or less. It could make the difference. So it was odd to see them go heavier, but the good news is with that weight, it did get stiffer. So that's the next thing, is this is noticeably stiffer than the Evo 4, which, for stringing, it's not going to bend over on you. For shooting and ground ball, it's not going to wobble. And this might be a good option for somebody like a D midi as well, just because they did add that additional stiffness. So let's get into look from the Evo 4 to here, what we've improved. A lot similar, but a little bit's changed. The scoop, you see this is completely blank in the Evo 4. Here we've got a bunch of embellishments, some lines, some mats and glosses, a Warrior logo. But my favorite change is what they've done on the sidewall. They took what used to be some swoopy curves, and they made them really futuristic, hard edges, gave it some good slants. It's still pretty much the same design, but they did a good job of updating it, making it look new, fast, futuristic, etc. They cut some more material out of the throat, and they threw this new Evo jewel in, which is nice. It's fancy, it looks nice, it doesn't really do anything for you functionally. And then the biggest thing you're going to notice they added here is lock throat. And so lock throat, this is their third iteration. There's the lock throat that's in the warp that has like an expanding effect where a screw goes through the throat. There's the lock throat on the regulator, which is similar to this but has 4 prongs. And then there's this one, 2 prongs, screw still goes in the back. The idea is to clamp the shaft between these prongs and the head, creates a tighter fit, eliminates head wobble. So wanted to dig into this a little bit and give it a try. So we had a bunch of shafts around the office that I tried it on. So here we've got the focus. I'll toss that on the Evo 4, and I don't know if you can hear, but there is a lot of wobble. This thing is moving a lot on the Evo 4. So then putting that on the Evo 5, it's much, much tighter, and there's virtually no wobble at all. So even without a screw, it's doing its job on the focus. That dynamic works well. So then we moved to something like, we had this unbranded titanium shaft sitting around on the Evo 4. Wobbles even worse, like really bad. That would really bother me. So then we toss it on the Evo 5 with the lock throat, and it eliminates most of the wobble, but there's still some. And this is just without a screw. So let's see if we put the screw in here into the Evo 5 with the lock throat. Right now it's wobbly without a screw. So essentially what this should do is thread through the head, thread through the shaft, give it a little bit more stability, but also pull that interior lock throat part up against the shaft and the head and kind of clamp it and eliminate all the wobble. So I put a screw in with this shaft and the Evo 4 previously, and it did not get rid of the wobble. It was still wobbling pretty badly even with a screw in the Evo 4. All right, so you got the Evo 5 with lock throat, and so by putting the screw in, it really did clamp it. No wobble whatsoever. So Evo 4 on this shaft wobbled a lot. Even after putting in a screw, we had a little bit of wobble without the screw here, and by putting the screw in, it clamped it, eliminated the wobble. So I'd say this lock throat is probably the best one yet. It's easy to use, it's simple, and it really did eliminate the wobble, which is a big deal for a lot of people. But it does add weight. It's heavier, it doesn't add any functional weight. It's not making it any stiffer, it's just eliminating the wobble. So it's up to you whether or not that's something you like. Other than that, just some new design elements on the top face here, some mats and glosses. updated look in general. So now let's get into the stringing, and I got a strung version here as well, but their big innovation here was called Tilt Tech, where they've taken the sidewall holes and they have, as opposed to facing them in this way, they've angled them down so they face this way in the head. They kind of said that was supposed to make it easier to string and help the pocket sit more mid-low. So I did string one, and I don't know if it was just me, but I actually found the exact opposite. I felt that the direction of the sidewall holes, which is going this way, I want you to aim that way, was fighting directly against the direction my strings wanted to aim, especially when pulling a channel down with knots. The strings tend to want to aim this way for me with overhand knots, and really all that this did was create like a sharp lip for them to rub against. I couldn't pull the strings through fluidly because there was so much tension there, and I really feel like, I don't know if it was just me, but I think they reversed the direction that I would have gone with the Tilt Tech. So for me, this was a big negative. I was still able to string the head, but in no way, shape, or form did it make it easier, or did it make the pocket form any better. So I don't really like this one at all from them. I thought it was kind of an idea someone came up with, but it seems like they never tested it with anyone that strings to find out whether it really helps. That being said, on the Evo 5 you got an improved face shape, which made the stringing easier. So Evo 4 to Evo 5 broke out the calibers, did some measuring. At the 3-inch mark, they actually tightened it by about 1/8 of an inch, and then up at the 5-inch mark, they widened it by about 1/8 of an inch. So essentially, you got a little tighter here and a little wider here, which created a accentuated flare, which is always great for stringing a mid to mid-low pocket. So I was able to pull it down tight, right to that accentuated flare point, get a really nice mid-low pocket with a really nice channel really easily. Spacing was pretty good, distribution. I probably could have used maybe one more sidewall hole down here. It felt like they were all shifted up a little bit. I kind of ended a little earlier than I would have liked, where it can't shift quite as low as I would like, but it was really good. So the face shape, the number of sidewall holes, those all went well for stringing, but the actual Tilt Tech certainly was not for me. So in conclusion, this is a great head. It looks really great. They did some great styling upgrades. I'm a big fan of that increased pinch, but some of the features I don't care for, and I would not pay an additional $20 for over a $90 head, or even a $100 head like the Tactic that just came out. At $100, that's a better deal than this at $110. I don't think that these increased features really needed that $20 price jump. So it's expensive, it's heavy, but some of its features are great. So it's kind of pros and cons here. So you have to take what you like. You might have to take some things you dislike too if you want to get this head. So overall, great Lacrosse head, couple problems, high price. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments of the new Evo 5. Make sure to like if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't, and have a great day.